Mantra is a technology which one can use not only in day to day life, but in also in specific situations of life, whether it is physical, psychological, mental, spiritual, economical, any kind of thing. Mantra therapy, mantra science has solutions to any and all kind of problems and situations of life.
So, what you made to inspire? What inspired you to go into making a movie of on mantras?
Although sometimes you see that there is a genuine interest in people to come in contact with the authentic wisdom of India, but there are very few or limited or almost nil sources available for people here to come in contact with the authentic sound, the authentic understanding. Definitely, mantra is not limited to religious perspective. And anyway, when you're talking about religion, if you say Hindu Dharma is a religion, then that's the very first misconception. Sanatan Dharma, I think it's one of the most scientific path of excellence existing on this planet, especially when it comes to the music of mantra. I have been probably one of the first and maybe the only musician from India who has raised his voice that, look, if somebody wants to approach mantras from a musical perspective, there are certain rules, there are certain chords and conducts. My only hope is that just the way it has enriched our life, it will enrich the life of the viewers, whosoever will see it and come in contact with it.
Namaskar and welcome to our special podcast. I'm GS Sharma, and with me is my co-host Rajeev Kumar. And today we are very delighted to have a special guest with us, Sri Manish Vyas. So be with us till the end of this podcast to gain knowledge on Vedic Shastra, Vedic culture, Vedic mantras, and lot of more.
Thank you, Sharmaji and Manishji, for making me part of this beautiful conversation. And I'm very confident this will be a very interesting and enlightening session for us.
Yes, Manish Vyas is a very renowned filmmaker, musician, and Sanatan Dharmi, having vast knowledge on Vedic Shastras and Vedic mantras, Vedic culture, and many more. Apart from it, he had done a lot of work on Sufi musics and Sikh Guru Banis. So it is going to be a very pleasant and knowledgeable podcast with him. It is truly our privilege to have with us.
Thank you.
So, Manishji, my first question will be to start this interesting discussion. Uh, I would like to know more about your journey and how did your interest in Vedic culture, music, and mantras begin?
Uh, this process already started from the childhood. I grew up in a joint family of 16 people. So we were four generations living in a big house in Gujarat. And from the very beginning of my childhood, I was around an atmosphere where a spiritual dimension was already adopted in all the generations, from my great grandmother to my youngest cousin living in the family. Apparently, my grandfather started following the teachings of Osho, who was at that time known as Acharya Rajneesh. So, because of his teachings, we already had a very regular phenomenon of meditations going on, kirtans, and many other musical evenings. Plus, born and brought up in India, being raised in India, you are always surrounded by this culture of Sanatan. You are always, surrounded by these sounds of mantras, and Aartis, and chanting, Kirtan. Then there are various ceremonies all the time happening either in your family or around in your community. So, knowingly, unknowingly, as a child, you start not only coming in contact with it, but also if you are a little sensitive, then you start embracing and enjoying it also. So, that's how it all started.
Very interesting.
So, Manishji, it means that this rooted in you since your birth. In fact, we can say when you are in into your mother's womb before your birth, so you started gaining the knowledge after in your joint family regarding the Vedic culture, Vedic shastras, and with it makes a great civilization. Indian Vedic mantra is great civilization. Manishji, recently your trailer of your movie True World of Mantra gone viral,
Yes,
and it has been appreciated by millions across the throughout the world.
yes.
So, what you made to be into this concept? So, and it is a really a difficult work. So, what you made to inspire? What inspired you to go into making a movie of on mantras?
Yes. What happened was that, basically my main field of work is music. And since last more than 30 years, I've been involved professionally in this field. So, as you know, that in music, one can choose various genres of music. For me, it was a very clear choice from the beginning that although the training of Indian music in my earlier years happened with the Indian classical music, the North Indian classical music. I started first with tabla, then the raga music, santur, vocal, many other things developed over the time. So on one side, that training was happening, but the choice was clear that how do I want to use the beauty and depth of all this into expressing what I would like to. And that choice was clearly what we call sacred music or devotional music or bhakti music or mantra music. So, already since 1994 or so, I've been involved in creating that kind of music. And obviously, when you look at the aspect of sacred music, contents like mantra, stuti, stotra become your first choice naturally. So, and we as people from India or people who can understand and access the ancient, vast treasure of Sanskrit text, as you know, and you will agree with me that we have such a vast amount of content available to us that if I decide to sing all of them, it will take me like number of lifetimes, and still we will not be able to complete it. So having this access to such a vast content, it was a very clear choice that I would start working on this text and put them to music and share it with the rest of the world. And because of this choice of genre, I was working a lot, especially in the Western world, because apparently from my first album, a certain recognition came not only in India but also from outside India. And as you know that outside India, because of yoga and the popularity of yoga, people have been attracted to the sounds of mantra and the Indian sacred music. So the exposure of my music happened naturally in that area, and I got a lot of invitations to play in various yoga festivals or spiritual centers or yoga centers, and sometimes even from the angle of workshops. And coming in contact with this Western world who is interested in mantra, I also came to see that although sometimes you see that there is a genuine interest in people to come in contact with the authentic wisdom of India,
Yes.
but
That is
there
it.
are very few or limited or almost nil sources available
Yes,
for
exactly right.
people here to come in contact with the authentic sound, the authentic understanding. So I saw that there was a lack of that information, that lack of knowledge, that lack of resources, that lack of the right representation. And side by side, there was a lot of misrepresentation happening of our ancient heritage. So that inspired me to, produce this project. So my wife and me, we decided way back in 2019 that we must produce an authentic source of information in form of a visual documentary which can provide at least a foundational understanding of the science of mantra, because it's very vast, of course, as we all know, and nobody especially from India has done this.
Yes, in
You know,
fact,
some
it is
people
there.
from some people from west have done it, but it's a very superficial presentation of these things. So that inspired us to do this project.
We can easily see that it's really fascinating, and a lot of in-depth work has been done with a lot of research, a lot of scientific evidence, and with wholehearted, kind of attempt. Before moving on, a very simple question is coming to my mind, Manishji, that while you have taken this path, was there a specific moment or a day that you felt it was your turning point and you realized that it is the real calling or a real purpose of life for you?
Yeah, in a way, as I said, that from the beginning of my music career, it was clear that I want to get involved with creation of that kind of music which can uplift a person's state of being. We have a lot of music for entertainment. So we call it manoranjan. But at some point in my life, after Osho, I came in contact with my second spiritual master. We lovingly call him Gurudev. He's still alive. And he introduced me to a concept of, in Hindi, he called it Manobhanjan, which means a music which can take you beyond the mind, which can uplift you from the level of the mind, because we already live at the level of the mind. So if you are only supported from the music to the level of the mind only, then there is no upliftment. So why not create that kind of music which gives a glimpse of the world beyond that? We have many other dimensions which are higher dimensions, the spiritual dimension. So that has been always my inspiration to make that music. And for that, there is no other better source of sound than mantra. It's the highest, the purest, and the most powerful uh, technology, I would call it, which is available to us. And luckily, of course, mantras don't need music, as I always say. But when we have the responsibility to put mantras to music, then sometimes what happens is that music becomes a little bit of a lubricant force to connect people to the sound of mantra, and then they can access to the original vibration of the mantra also. So that has been my main goal in that way, to work with mantras and stutis and stotras and any kind of Sanskrit text primarily.
Maniji, what you said about your Guruji, that video also very viral on internet nowadays in the form of reels and shorts. And he explained tremendously about the concept of Manoranjan. And it is coming into my mind nowadays. in the name of fusion, uh, Western musician, we can say Western type of musicians, and so many Indian musicians are destroying the real entity of the mantras by incorporating into the music. So, is it not affecting the actual meaning and significance of the mantras? For their popularity, they are doing good things. We are not criticizing. On for a lighter moment, I want to ask.
Yeah, you have raised a good point, and here there is a lot of debate, and especially when it comes to the music of mantra. I have been probably one of the first and maybe the only musician from India
Yes, exactly.
who has raised his voice that, look, if somebody wants to approach mantras from a musical perspective, there are certain rules, there are certain chords and conducts and discipline that one has to follow. Like earlier I said that mantras actually don't need music. So, but in our tradition in India, since millennia, our musicians have sung mantras, stotras, stutis, bhajans. In our tradition, it is a very ancient tradition and a path to sing the sacred text. But then that sacred text is approached with the right elements, with the right attitude, with the right understanding of music and bhav and ras and all these things. I always say that every culture has its beauty. I live in Switzerland, so they have their own typical folk music. They have their church music, and they do it in a certain way, and they would not like it to be sung in any other way. So the same way, I as an Indian expect that our sacred texts, our sacred mantras, and all these things must be approached with the right elements. Now, in the name of fusion, usually there is more confusion than fusion. So, I have also done fusion, as you and some of my listeners have heard it. But my effort, my intention, and, what we call prayatna is always that I want to
It should
maintain the
not.
sacredness of Indian music
It should not destroy the
untouched.
actual.
Yeah, I don't want to disturb the vibration of the mantra. I just want to use the necessary fusion elements to create a little different sounds, but the sacredness of the rag, the sacredness of bhav and ras, and ultimately the vibration of the mantra should not be disturbed. It should be untouched, and if possible, with the right use of the music, it can be enhanced. So, if any musician from any part of the world would approach with this attitude and also the right skills, like, as you know, that because of the popularity of yoga mantra, there are a lot of so-called mantra singers in Europe and America and in all over the world.
Also in India.
Now what they did, yeah, even in India some people are copying them, unfortunately. But what they have done is that they have bypassed the whole aspect of Indian music. So in a way, it's like if I start singing Hallelujah in Rag Darbari, it will sound funny to the listeners here. And we don't do it. We are mature enough that no, if I want to sing Hallelujah or Ave Maria or anything from any another tradition, I would try to learn it exactly in that way and do it. Because we respect that sacred tradition. The same way, I expect the people from the West to understand that, look, if you want to sing the Indian sacred text, please learn it properly and then represent it properly.
There's one more myth or misconception we see all around us most of the time, that mantras are basically meant for religious rituals only. But in a way, I think it affects our human consciousness also. But you are the right person to answer that. If you can help us in understanding that mantras go beyond this basic misconception we have as a normal listener.
Yes. I would also humbly tell you that I'm still a student of this wonderful and vast science. I wouldn't call myself an expert or anything like that. I am a student of this tradition, and I will remain a student forever and ever. But when you are a student, you are gaining some level of understanding. Then you experiment in your life. You also meet and come across people who have done this in their life successfully. They have helped themselves and others also. So, from all that perspective, I can tell you that definitely mantra is not limited to religious perspective. And anyway, when you're talking about religion, if you say Hindu dharma is a religion, then that's the very first misconception. We have always known it as Sanatan Dharma. Yeah, the term Hindu came from outside, and it was a labeled thing on our tradition. So one has to first understand that Sanatan means universal or eternal, and Dharma means a way of being, a way of functioning. That what is your right response in a particular situation or in your day to day life, how you want to live a life of excellence. That is, that you are living a life of Dharma. This has nothing to do with religion. Many wise people, contemporary wise people of our land, has again and again said that our land, Bharat, had never known the concept of religion. They have known the concept of dharma, but dharma is not religion. This concept of religion came from outside. When people came from outside and they saw that these people are practicing all these things, so they labeled it that, oh, this is their religion. Yeah, you see, because as we all know, that a religion gives you certain fixed codes and conducts. I don't want to name anything, and every path is beautiful in its own way. But see, they tell you, okay, you go to this one place to worship, you read this one book, and you worship this one God. Now, if you look at Sanatan Dharma, do we have one book? No. We have a whole library. Do we have one place to visit? No. We can visit so many places, or you don't visit any places and you can still be a part of Sanatan Dharma. Do you do only one practice? No, you can do this. You can do Gyan Yoga, you can do Bhakti Yoga, you can do Karma Yoga, you can do Kriya Yoga. You don't do any of that, you are still Sanatani. So, a religion does not give you so much freedom, but a path of excellence gives you such a vast amount of options and varieties and choices that you choose according to your type. So that is the beauty of Sanatan Dharma. So in that way, Sanatan Dharma, I think it's one of the most scientific path of excellence existing on this planet. You see, because as we...
Way of life, we can say.
Yeah. And as we all know that in this tradition, since millennia, so many hundreds and thousands of people have walked on the land of Bharat and gave us different ways to reach the ultimate. They did not say there is only one way. So many different paths, but all leading to the same place. They went into the depth of every possible technology, that how this technology can bring you to that point. And mantra was one of the technology. You see, so it has nothing to do with religious. Mantra is considered a science of sound. You see, it's a science. So scientific thing has nothing to do with religion in that way. And the beauty about Bharat has been always that, even let's say if we call this a religion thing, science and religion have always walked side by side. They have never been separated. Science respected and supported the religion thing, and religion respected and supported the science equally. How to bring combination of both to make a person's life more uplifting, more excellence, and more towards the ultimate goal of a human life, which is moksha, mukti, enlightenment. So mantra has been also a tool of that. And at the same time, removing the misbelief that mantra has only to do with religion. No, mantra is a technology which one can use not only in day-to-day life, but in also in specific situations of life, whether it is physical, psychological, mental, spiritual, economical, any kind of thing. Mantra therapy, mantra science has solutions to any and all kind of problems and situations of life.
Maniji, before proceeding it, uh, uh, our viewer wanted to know about the origin of Vedas. Then, after Vedic culture, what the next culture came in Sanatan Dharma, and what is the significance of mantras? And as you said, it's a science of sound. Science of sound.
Yes,
And I have seen your videos and other things. It essential part of it is vibration,
exactly.
and which impact on our nerve system. So I think you worked on it while making a movie, and as you said, from the childhood, uh, exploring this vast knowledge on this thing. So it is you elaborate it on.
Yes, because you see, initially in my journey, I was exposed to certain mantra chanting, certain stotra chanting, and it was already a good preparation. But the real, I will tell you that real opening to this depth of mantra first came through my spiritual master, because I have been with him for more than 30 years, and he used to conduct meditation retreats all over India, sometimes 10 days, sometimes 40 days. And in this period of 10 days or 40 days, he used to play different recordings of different mantra chanting or stotra chanting. And he would encourage us to listen, like sit still and just listen, pure listening. And there I could, being a
Shruti.
participant, being,
We can say Shruti.
yeah, like a Shruti, as we say. So already I could see the effect on a meditator's being, how just listening of such sacred sounds is helping his or her journey. Then, especially when I started working on the documentary, and initially I had few people in mind that okay, we would meet these people and talk to them, but then one thing leads to another. Some people will tell you, have you met him, have you? And also from our own research, we started discovering more and more people who have worked in the field of mantra for healing, for astrological aspect, from Ayurvedic aspect, from normal day-to-day life aspect. So then we were really lucky to be exposed to such a vast science of mantra in that way. And this documentary project is an humble effort to bring not only for the people of the rest of the world, but also for the people of India, for our land, because we have been for a long time disconnected with our own heritage, that we have been sitting on a golden mine of knowledge, of wisdom, of true technology. But we have been so westernized since the British Raj, and even after they left, we have been brainwashed that all these Indian things are nonsense, and you should be modern and contemporary and secular and these and that. So in a way, very systematically, we have been pushed away from our own richness. Thankfully, in the last 5-10 years, things are coming back and people are recognizing the value. Here also, people are recognizing the value of. So that's why you see why so many people are doing yoga. Although they are still stuck at the physical level, but still, because yoga is offering something which their own culture, their own wisdom is not offering. So definitely, I always say this, that whenever anybody in the world is looking for inner peace, he is going to look towards India, towards Bharat. He's not going to find it in Japan or anywhere else.
India
No,
is a spiritual leader. We can say India
exactly,
is a spiritual leader.
exactly. So in a way, our, our land has been known as the how to say Vishwa Guru, no?
Vishwaguru.
So
Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina.
yes, so it is time to recognize also for us Indians that it's not about becoming like superior, no, but it's about recognizing our true value of our and ancient sages and wise people, that how they have left such a profound wisdom and technology with us without without expecting anything in return. If Ved Vyasji left behind all this, or if Dhanvantri left behind all this, or if Charak Sanhita, what did you? No. Even as far as Vedas is concerned, we even don't know who wrote the Vedas because they were not interested in getting famous. So, those, it was their compassion to bring the life of people to a certain level. So we must recognize this, and projects like this documentary is just a very small effort to awaken people that look, everything is right there. Just start using it with total trust, total faith, and patience. Results will come.
Coming back to your very interesting project, True World of Mantras, the documentary film, sir. Um, the trailer has been very widely received, very well received. Now we are looking at a possibility of watching this documentary. So, if you could tell us what kind of plans you have for that documentary so that it can reach wider audience, what kind of medium or OTT platforms are you looking at, or would could it be also a theatrical or social media release? I am really curious to know about your plans on that.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you the current update that we are in the last stage of finishing it. So the editing and the coloring and the music, the sound work is going on in its last stage, and hopefully by end of this year everything will be completed, and sometime in the first half of 2026 we should have the good news of where and how people can access it, watch it. Our effort would be to make it available in such a way that more and more people can access it without too much trouble. uh, you know Filmmaking is, I've been involved with filmmaking only since last 5 6 years, so I'm also learning a lot while we are continuing this. So hopefully the right platform will be there to make this available and reach more people. But in the meantime, I can only ask people who want to be updated about it that on my website there is a page called manishvyas.com/movie, so they can watch that page every now and then. And every of course on my social media channels, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, we regularly put the updates of the progress. And in the meantime, as Sharma ji has mentioned, a few reels which are connected with the documentary to give a glimpse of what people can expect, what kind of wisdom people can expect from the amazing people that we have met. So in some way, if they can remain connected through these sources, then definitely, as and when it's ready and where it is ready, when people will immediately come to know. Another way is if they subscribe to our newsletter, then of course we give also information there also.
People are curiously waiting for release of your movie, that is True World of Mantra. And when I posted a reel from the trailer of your movie, where the Bapu Padmanabha, the
Yep.
renowned flute musician and Vedic scholar,
Yep.
he significantly described the difference between chanting and singing, and it has been appreciated by millions of, it has been seen, viewed by millions, and there are a lot of comments where people wanted to learn the proper way of chanting, correct pronunciation, what is the source, where we can learn. I received a lot of questions, lot of we can say questions about it, and that reel touched a million views, about the
Yes.
million views, and still it is very viral. So in Bapu Padmanabhan very well explained about the significance between the singing and chanting. So you are into music and you are composing the mantras in secret manner, and chanting gives some quality of vibration which affects the entire body, even our nervous system. So in this one, I want to know about these two conflicting things, singing and chanting. In both field, we are using the mantras.
Yeah. And
So enlighten on it, sir.
yes, definitely. And this has been also, you can say, a growth process in my own journey. And though in the childhood we were exposed to both the aspect of mantra, the chanting side also and the musical side also. Now, being professionally musician, of course, my connection has been more with singing mantras. But at the same time, slowly, I started recognizing that singing mantra is from a perspective of a musician, it is a choice that I choose to sing this content. I am not very fond of singing Divana Parwana Mastana, Tune Mera Dil Tod Diya, Tune Ye Kar Diya, Wo Kar Diya, because it does not take me anywhere. It just keeps me where the mind already is. But if I sing Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimai Tanno Rudra Prachodayat, even if I sing it, it suddenly starts taking me to a different level. Because we are talking about Shiv, Nataraj, Adi Yogi. So in a way, even if I'm singing it, it is definitely an ascending journey. So I have always chosen to sing only sacred content in my life. But when I started, especially meeting these people in context with this movie, and also when I experimented in my own life, I realized that the real effect of a mantra comes through chanting. Why? Because chanting is repetition. You see, I always give this example that in winter, whenever we want to create a little warmth, so we rub our hands, right? So when we rub our hands, we don't rub one time. No, we repeat it few times until the right warmth starts coming, right? The same way, mantra, when it is repeated, it's a little bit like drilling. It starts creating that vibration, that space, that energy that we are trying to invoke, which we are trying to access, which we are trying to project, which we are trying to create. And that is why we have the tradition of minimum 108. Yeah, if somebody does, and then we have this tradition of Purush Charan, which means like every mantra is given a specific number to make it the Siddh mantra for you. So definitely, and chanting in our tradition, as you have seen with the reel of Bapu and with many other. So in our Vedic tradition, we have this system of the three swaras, Uddat, Anudat, Swarit. And as you know, most of our Vedic texts, Upanishad texts, and sometimes many suktas and Atharva Shirsham and stotras are exactly composed in those three notes. And when I was visiting all these gurukuls in India, where they teach this to young students, and all these young children can recite the exact those notation system without
With gesture
reading.
also, with some gesture, hands gesture.
So now this is a very ancient tradition of Shruti and Smriti. So, but when, and I've also started seeing that when we see, for example, I give you an example of Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra being one of the most famous. So if I want to sing Gayatri Mantra, maybe I would sing it like Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. So very sweet, very beautiful. It's based on a certain raga, we would call it Bilawal. And it definitely brings you in a certain beautiful heart space. आप थोड़ा मतलब, you become more sensitive, more soft. But now chanting of Gayatri Mantra, how it is done? Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Now this has a completely different vibration, completely different level, and this you can chant 108 times. And if somebody follows this exactly how it is, man, I cannot tell you, even after your first ever experiment of 108 chanting like this, where it can bring you. And if you decide that, if you take a sankalp, that okay, I'm going to do this for 3 weeks, 108 chanting every day with the mala, exactly like this, it can be totally transformative. So yes, chanting has that effect which singing doesn't have. So in a way, what I do is that I treat creating musical versions of mantra or stotras or this as a little bit of introduction to listeners who have never come across mantras. So if they come in contact this initially, and then if I tell them, okay, now you enjoyed the musical version, now why don't you connect with the chanting version of it? It is upgrade, no? I'm definitely not downgrading them. I'm making upgrading them. And who am I? I'm just introducing them to something which is already existing. It's not something that I've invented. So yes, and that's why in our tradition, this chanting has been given this very specific way. And there must be a reason. It definitely works on our system. There are proofs, medical proofs. I will tell you, just recently I saw on one of our Indian news TV channel that in Lucknow, they did an experiment with 40 people where they monitored their brain activity while they were played some Sanskrit stotras and stutis. And there was a major effect on their brains. There was a positive effect on their brains, and a lot of, especially people who have problems with Alzheimer's, they could see positive effect on those people. Now they also noticed that out of those 40 people, some people did not know Sanskrit at all. So there was effect, but there was a little less effect. And people who knew a little bit or a lot of Sanskrit, there was even more effect. So this, my friends, becomes a reason that we must learn Sanskrit up to a certain level. Because when you get familiar with these sounds, even it is said that even reciting any Sanskrit stotras or mantra or stuti, even if you don't know the meaning, can work on your system. Because it is not about meaning, it is about the vibration of the language. We come back to the vibration. Everything around us is vibration. Even if we think there is a wall, now the modern science is saying even that is a movement but frozen. It is moving, but it is such a slow movement. It is vibrating, but it is such a slow vibration. We will think that it is still, it is rock. No. So if everything around us is a vibration, then it is our choice to come in contact with higher quality of vibration, which can help and uplift our way of life, way of thinking, way of functioning, way of being. And we, being from India, we have the access to all this treasure. What are we doing? Why are we listening to?
That is what Sanatana says. Everything has the life. In everything
Exactly.
there is a life.
When we have such a access to, why are we listening to like pop music and Bollywood music and Coldplay and filling stadiums? Okay, I'm not against it. It's okay to have a little bit fun. But when you want to bring a positive upliftment in your life, then these are the things to come in contact with.
So I think we'll be taking it to conclusion shortly. One simple request I have is that for today's generation or today's youth, if there is one mantra you could suggest, which could be practiced daily for our listeners' benefit, what could it be?
Yeah. See, it's a little difficult in that way because, mantra has such a wider application.
To start with,
So,
because as you
to,
said, we have
For
to
the
bring it
beginners.
to this side of the treasure. How to start? Starting
see,
point.
People
yeah,
are
okay.
curious to learn about the mantras and they don't know the sources and how do they wanted to start because youths are showing the more interest nowadays in Vedic culture, but the
Yeah,
sources are limited.
yeah. And I mean, the good thing is that already a lot of young people in our country are are looking at these things. Recently I was in Varanasi and I was really happy to see that the largest number of tourists were young people. Everywhere you could see these young people having, saffron thing. It's not about being nationalist or religious or anything, but finally appreciating our roots. You could hear Har Har Mahadev, all these young boys and girls are chanting. So this was a very positive thing to see that finally these people are recognizing the roots and the value of it. Now, as I said, you know, there is mantra is a very wider application. So if they are interested, they definitely should seek the right sources and then from their sources take proper guidance, proper understanding, proper knowledge to start their journey on mantra with something simple. So you see, in our tradition, if let's say if somebody's life is more or less fine, going in an order, nothing is missing, nothing is expected, then we have a tradition of what we call Nitya Karma mantra. Maybe you have heard this. So Nitya Karma means daily functions. So there is a mantra or a sloka connected with our daily functions. When you get up, even before you step off the bed, there is a certain sloka that you chant. So which is remembering the divine energy of Krishna, Vishnu, Saraswati, Govind. So you start your day with remembering and connecting with the divine energies, with the divya energy. And people many times think that but I don't see these devis and devatas, so how do I know if they exist? So recently I was talking to an Ayurveda expert who are also working in mantra, and he told me that Manishi, oxygen also doesn't exist. We don't see it, but we know that it's there. So do you believe everything what is only seen? Yeah. So just like that, there are these divine energies present all the time, but they are waiting for us to invoke them, to invite them, to access them. Then they can help in whatever area that is needed. And if there is no specific help, then we just pay our gratitude, our thankfulness to them, our namaste to them, and simply invite that auspicious energy into day-to-day life. So Nitya Karma mantras can be a very good way for any new one to start with. So, and now, all these sources are available on internet. So there is a mantra when you wake up, there is a mantra when you take a bath, there is a mantra when
There
you
are
eat
so
food.
many, I interrupt you, there are so many uh, wrong sources also which gives the wrong information of chanting on the things. How to distinguish between real videos and fake videos, proper way of chanting. See, I'm interrupting you. Chanting of mantra in proper way will bring the positive vibration, energy in our entire universe. I cannot say the only human. And wrong chanting, does it impact adversely on the universe or the person who is chanting?
Yes, yeah, in chanting, it is important first to learn the correct pronunciation, because mantra is like, it's like an email address. So you have to put the correct email address to get the response. So there are stories, I don't remember the word, but there is a story of a Brahmin who was given a mantra because his son was sick, and so he was given a mantra where the mantra would help the son to get better. But because he made some mistake in pronunciation, instead of son getting better, he died.
Yes, I too heard this story.
Yeah. So in that way, that correct information is necessary. Now, in chanting, see, there are two ways of chanting. One is that, let's say, you do just normal one tone chanting, or if you have a little bit of your own melody, it's fine. For chanting, one does not need to sing like we sing in a concert, right? And if you are deciding to do it in a Vedic style, like I just chanted the Gayatri mantra with its precise up and down notes, then it's also very powerful. In my experience, it definitely creates a very protective energy field and a very integrated, centered energy within the system. So for that, you have to learn from the right source. So now you may ask, what is the right source? So one has to be really vigilant, because if you only open Instagram, there are some young people completely creating some mantras which does not exist, and then there are people exposing them that look, this mantra does not exist. So one should be a little bit careful that look, and better access, preferably to a senior person who is a little bit educated in that area, who has experimented, who has, worked with people. I wouldn't trust a 23-year-old guy talking about mantra nowadays. No, I would rather approach somebody who is not very popular, but who is doing his or her work very sincerely. Interestingly, in the movie that we met people, a lot of people are actually unknown to the rest of the world. Like you're talking about Bapu and other people.
Approximately 30 people you interviewed in that one. Approximately 30 people,
Yeah.
Sources are available on
Yeah.
their
So
website.
I'm sure that,
30, we can say 30 gurus,
yeah.
acharyas.
Yeah, and also in a way we were looking for such people, because our feeling was that if somebody is too popular, then the angle gets a little commercial and all these things. So it just happened that we happened to meet those people who were almost hidden, almost unknown.
Yeah, that is my exactly curiosity. Why they are hidden? Why they are not coming forward to take responsibility to become the aware of entire world regarding the correct things and shadow the fake
Yeah, because you
gurus
see,
and other things.
I think our land is the only land where such people exist, because they are interested in sincerity of people. They are interested in the genuineness of people, the real, like people who really need it, they will find these people. In a way, like when we needed to meet these people, really, we happened, somehow it happened that we found them, and then we were so blessed to talk to them, and thankfully that this movie will become a great source for the whole world to finally know these people who are mostly unknown. I don't know if those people will like it or not, I don't know, but definitely they're going to be famous, they're going to be popular, and a lot of people are going to start writing to them or meeting them or going to them and learn all these things. So in that way, our land is like this, that they are not really interested in becoming rich and famous. I met 2 3 people who have helped thousands and thousands of people getting cured physically, mentally, psychologically through mantra, and they don't charge a single pie for this. On the contrary, they spend money from their pocket Now, where in the world you find these people? Definitely not here. I live in Switzerland. Every single thing is charged and very expensive. Mostly, things which are sold in the name of India are actually fake, but they are charged super expensive. And then we meet people in our land which are doing this work for free. So this is seva, and they are doing it silently. And they always, in talking to them, I understood that they are not interested in getting famous and popular and rich. And no, they are there. If somebody is really needing some help, somehow they reach to them. They are not interested.
They are into karmic path.
Yeah.
They are into karmic
Yeah,
path.
yeah, exactly.
That's how it is.
But youth wanted to, some youth wanted to know about it, because they are not having the sources, not having information, how to
Reliable
connect with this type of gurus, acharyas, pandit scholars. By that comments I received on my Instagram, I am the Vasist ID. There are so many people wanted to ask me. Somebody pretended me that I am chanting. No, I am not the gentleman. I clarified. He's a Bapu Padmanabha. So people wanted to connect with him. They wanted to know about whether any online class or any Gurukul sort of paddhati or classes or ashram is there. So that is essential. At least we should have some authentic information. At least on your website, at least we can gain when it comes to the knowledge of the people, so they can easily connect with them.
That's why I think this very attempt of creating a film or a documentary on this subject, I think it's a beautiful attempt and much needed attempt
Much needed.
for bringing this treasure to people who are not even aware of our own heritage.
Yes, that's the only intention behind this. And like Sharmaji was saying, Sharmaji, see, like if we put some post about Bapu or somebody else like that, and then people got connected, people are showing it. So when things are supposed to happen, they happen. When it's like in our culture, it is always said that when the disciple is ready, the master appears. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Nobody is doing anything. You think I'm doing something? No. It just happened that we got an inspiration to make this movie, and eventually. Now, even after this movie will come out, you think the whole world will be affected? No, only the real interested people will get in touch with these people. And out of those people who get in touch, how many sincerely follow it? And how many will finally reach their destination? It is their karma, it is their destination. So,
You know that one through that reel. I'm interrupting you. Through that reel, it is very amazing and fortunate that I received some followers who are very well-known musicians in the world, famous musicians, Bollywood musicians, and filmmaker. They are following my ID, and they are sharing that reel also. Means they somewhere they are also conscious about that
yeah.
this is a real thing, and what they are doing for
Yeah.
their
No, so it's a good sign.
requirement.
It's a good sign that means, when such work is done, and eventually when it will come out, the people who are really interested, then they will definitely start their journey on this path. And in that's why, like I said in the beginning, that is the only intention behind this project, to bring a qualitative documentation of this powerful science, this powerful technology that our ancient rishis, sages, wise men have gifted to us, but we have either taken it for granted or not valued it enough. So, if through this project, if some sincere people, some genuine people who really need to get any kind of help on any level, if they can connect with the right sources, then our purpose is served. This movie is not to make me or anybody famous. No. And working on this movie already has enriched our life a lot. So now my only hope is that just the way it has enriched our life, it will enrich the life of the viewers, whosoever will see it and come in contact with it.
it is going to be a document for the forthcoming generation, like
Yeah.
some spiritual text.
Yes.
Nowadays,
And
everything is storing in form of digital form.
Correct.
So tomorrow, in future, it may be a guiding text for them, like authentic book or sort of things.
yes, and as a addition, last addition to this, project is that being from India, having born and brought up and studied all these things, I feel indebted towards Bharat. That Bharat has given me and all of us so much that in our smallest way, if we can repay it to our motherland and show our gratitude, and at the same time make aware the rest of the world that look, this is the real Bharat, this is the real treasure that we have to share with the world. So that is also a intention behind this.
Always generosity always required the gratitude. What motherland gives us, we should be gratitude.
Yeah.
In the Sanatan Dharma, we worship every aspect of the universe. Not the we worship stars, we worship uh, trees, water, believing that in every creature there is a life, and every creature has their own sound.
Yes.
Like a Om was a Adi mantra. So this efforts of your certainly will be the very helpful to the society,
Groundbreaking.
and it will be highly appreciated, and it is going to be a great treasure for the whole community, entire world, because I received a lot of inquiries from throughout the other part of the countries also, and out of the countries, from the Western countries, people are interested in proper way of chanting, who are the well-known musicians, having followers in millions, 2 millions, 10 millions, some are the 50 millions. They wanted to know about the proper way of chanting and what are the sources.
Yeah.
So that is certainly your movie is making impact on the everybody who are directly or indirectly connected with the mantras or Bharatiya Sanatan Sanskriti. Really, it is very highly appreciated your work.
And also, I would encourage, as and when this project is out there and people who see it, I would encourage those viewers to spread the word. Because if it has, if it has helped them in their life, if it has brought any kind of change or transformation, then these are the things to spread. This is a good seva for society. You are not going to get in return anything,
Niswart Seva.
but
Niswart
this is
seva,
nishkam
selfless.
karma, as we say it in our. And if somebody is really genuinely need, then they will be also helped by this. And it will just, if this spreads, these are the things worth spreading. Especially in Kali Yuga.
Thank you, Manish ji. This has been a very, very enlightening session. And I know we can talk on this subject, I think, for hours and hours.
It is endless.
It is an endless journey.
Yes.
But it has been an amazing session. We have been awakened. We have understood more about our own culture and treasure. And same way, I think it will touch the hearts of our viewers also.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sharma ji, for
Thank
bringing
you.
me in. I'm really happy to be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Manishji. We both are very happy to see you here, and we are sincerely thankful for your time and your remarkable knowledge, what you shared with us and with our viewer. Thank you, viewers. Keep follow, keep watch for more videos. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.